What's going on, boys? Welcome to the video. So we're going to be talking about why I got a ZX-6R. So this bike was not on my radar at all when I was looking to upgrade, which I still don't know why, because after riding this thing, I've had this for like 2 odd months now. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I've had this thing for like 2 months and I love this thing so much. It is ridiculous how much fun I'm having on this bike, and like how much I overlooked the ZX-6R like big time, because if you know me from my MT-07, I'm a Yami boy through and through. I love Yamaha. Their bikes are awesome. Styling is amazing. Just top tier bikes, right? Is that cop? Yes, good. Yes. Good shit. Alright. Yeah, I love Yamaha. Their bikes are pretty awesome. They're pretty sick bikes, right? The R6 especially, because when looking for my next bike to upgrade, I didn't want a 1000cc, I wanted a 600. I'll briefly explain that, because I figured I'll be riding for so long, and like I love motorcycles, so I want to work up the cc class. So I had a 650, and that's 2-cylinder, and then I upgraded to a 600, but this is a 4-cylinder, and that's what I wanted for my next bike. So I was looking at R6s. I actually test rode a couple, an old gen. I've ridden my mate's new gen a handful of times, so I've got like a good feel for an R6, and I love them heaps. And this is a realization that I had when I bought this thing, was R6 power band for street riding is just not it. That's my hot take. And I think a couple people would agree with me. Not many though, because everyone raves on about the R6 and how it's such a good bike. It's the best 600 that you can get, and I agree with that for the track, not for street riding. This thing, ZX-6R 636cc 4-cylinder, is just unreal, and I'll explain that. So when I picked this thing up, I didn't test ride it. It had a decent, I think it had like 20,000 or 24,000 Ks. Yeah, 24,000 Ks when I bought it. Daily ridden to and from work. This thing, it was babied a lot, and so I was pretty like, I was a bit iffy. I wanted to test ride it, but I was like, nah, the guy didn't want it to be test ridden, so like, fair enough, mate. I respect the decision. And so I ended up putting a deposit on this and then picking it up a couple weeks later, and oh my god, this thing has just put a smile on my face, a huge grin cheek to cheek every time I ride this thing, just because the 636cc motor inline 4 is just, it's so good. It just produces a lot of torque. I don't have figures off the top of my head, but this is all just my riding experience based on riding an R6. A lot more torque. Top end wise, I think it's pretty even with the R6, but it's more like your power band from 4K up to 10, it starts climbing a lot more. Compared to an R6, where if you've ridden an R6 or you're familiar with an R6, the power band doesn't really kick in until 8 to 10K, and then it really, like, it'll lift the front wheel like almost over halfway through the rev range, just because that power band just like skyrockets. And why I say the R6 is shit for street riding is because you need to be in that RPM, that bracket all the time to be making power and making that thing go fast. I'd probably say I haven't tuned this thing yet. There's a lot that I need to do to this motorcycle, but I've ridden tuned R6s, different sprocket ratios, stock R6s, and they make a lot of power. They're very fast in that power band, and for street riding, you're not always in that power band. The bike still rides fine. It's a little gutless down low just because you're not there, whereas the ZX-6R, that power band is so linear, and that term I use, linear, is like just it's a gradual incline that climbs up. it's just, for me, this thing is so much nicer to street ride. It just roll on, good power, and it moves. It does what I want it to do, like every bike, but I don't have to drop 3 gears, drop 2 gears to get it into the power band before I can actually just grip it. I can just smash gears. Just, yeah, roll on, smash gears, and it'll go fast. Like, I don't need to get it into the position to go fast. It'll go fast when I want to go fast. Obviously, like every single motorcycle out there, depending on the RPM range that you're in, you might need to drop down a gear, or it'll take a little bit to lift, but this thing will still go quite quickly compared to an R6. When you're riding an R6, it's like nothing, and then as soon as you hit that power band, it'll lift. But like, I've heard of people saying like the front wheel will pick up when you're in there, just out of nowhere, because like it's just getting into power and it's going. Which the ZX doesn't do. It's very smooth. It climbs, and it keeps on going, which is great. That's honestly, like, for me, and because I did no research on this bike, I was so like set on an R6. I was still trying to grapple or come to terms with the R6, because in our market, R6s are stupid expensive for the new gen. I didn't really want an old gen. I test ridden an old gen, like an 09 I think, or 09 or an 11, and I was just like, nah, I can't do this. Like, this thing, like, just old tech, well, no tech, sorry, because it was old, and it was just, I wasn't a fan of the bike as much as I wanted to, because I wanted that R6 heritage to just live on with, because they're discontinued. You can't buy them unless they're race ready. So I wanted to keep that R6 alive, and just get a really tidy R6, OEM plus, tasteful mods, and ride the bike to its potential, right? But maybe as a track bike, but for now, this thing is definitely a really good choice. I'm going to turn right here. ZX-6R 636cc, man, this thing is a ball of fun. If you haven't ridden one of these, and you know someone that owns one, jump on, ask for a test ride. It's a different kind of 4-cylinder. It's, I hope I'm not right. Yeah, no, it's lots of fun, for street riding especially, and it's got nice little ergos, good ergos. Like, it's got a fuel gauge, which is really nice, and it's, yeah, power band's good. It's not horrible on fuel. I mainly ride this thing like low RPMs, just because you don't need to scream it everywhere. It's got gears to use for a reason, right? The only things that I don't like about this bike is, I like the styling and I don't like the styling. It's, there's a car there, there's a truck there. It's too much like Kawasaki styling. It looks good, but at the same time, it just, it doesn't. Because all their bikes, all the new bikes look the same. H2, and then all the other bikes, the ZX-10's a little, styling's a little bit different. It stands out a little bit more, but this thing looks too much like a Ninja 400, which is what I hate about this bike, right? It looks too much like a 400, so it kind of does my head in a little bit. It looks a bit like the 650 as well, so you kind of like, an R6 you see and you're like, R6, but this, you don't really get that same R6, that ZX-6R. It's a nice day. Yeah, like this thing, yeah, it's lots of fun. It's a little bit, because I daily ride this, it's a little bit how you're going, just for the ergos, because this thing is a really aggressive bike to ride. I might slap up a photo. You can see the tail is very tall and very steep, and then the clip-ons are very low. Every bike is gonna be like more or less uncomfortable. Every super sport is gonna be uncomfortable, more or less. It's how you ride them though. I find that for me, if I'm not putting a lot of weight on my wrists, so I grip the tank with my knees, hence the tank grips help me a lot to grip and then stop sliding. Oh, I might wrap this up because I don't have heaps to say, but for now, oh, there's something falling on my face. Oh my god, sorry. Ah! Alright, we're back. Thanks for watching, boys. Always ride safe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace. Oh, dip.